Alright, today's video, thanks for joining me by the way. I should start with that, I guess. This video is going to be from a smaller channel. The channel is called Outdoor Life Adventure, just over 2,000 subscribers from Sweden. This one here is the one we're going to look at. Let's just jump straight into it. Alright, showing a few clips of what we're up to in this video. Tiny little shelter, like it's bare bones minimum of what you want and what you need. Your fireplace is, yeah, it's out of the weather. As long as the wind direction doesn't change and get that rain blowing in on you, you're going to be alright. Alright, so he does close in that other side. Cool little entranceway between those trees. That's pretty cool, interesting. Alright, don't know what that was about. It's just a random bit of B-roll. Cool forest. I've got to say that. Love the forest. So this must be part 2. Because we didn't see that, obviously we haven't seen that other side get built. And I thought that's what we were in for. I thought we were going to be seeing the whole shelter build. The title of the video is 48-hour building warm bushcraft survival shelter with fireplace inside. Well, it's not really accurate, is it? Because it might be, he might spend 48 hours out there, but he's not building the complete shelter. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but when I read that title, I think I'm getting the full build. I'm not getting part 2 or part 3 or whatever it is. It's just, I'm thinking I'm getting that full build and spending 48 hours out there building the whole thing. Is that just me? You let me know. Must be pretty soft ground if he can just hammer that in with a flat end on it. Like he hasn't sharpened those ends up at all. And look how easy they're going into the ground. Wow. I want ground like that to work with. Man, that's awesome. Try that around where I build, and it's not going to go in not even a quarter of an inch. It's just going to sit there and bounce on the surface. Yeah. Is that a bit like a piece of foam that he's got there? I'm guessing this is his fireplace, is it? Or is it a big slab of concrete or something that he's got? Can't be foam if it's going to be his fireplace, but where do you get that big piece of concrete or whatever it is? Guess you got to watch the first part of this build to find that out. I think you're going to end up with some of it just breaking away and falling down into your fire. It'll definitely have cracks appear when it heats up, and that's the problem when you put timber on the outside of your fireplace like this. I mean, it can't be avoided sometimes because it's just what resources you have available to you. You've got to try to hold it all secure, but one of the issues is that as it heats up, things dry out and they crack, and then you've got, over time, all the burnt carbon, as you're firing, all that black soot, the carbon, it goes into those cracks as well, and it just builds up and builds up. And then you might get a spark, go in there and ignite it and set fire to your timber. But, I mean, you have to spend a lot of time in it for that to happen. It didn't really show how he finished off the top of that, did he? Like that fireplace. He had the bit of stone or whatever it is in the bottom, which you didn't see where that came from. Timber around the outside, and then lined it with clay and dirt and whatever. But what did he do in the top? Because if he just stuck that clay stuff to the top, it's just going to fall off. And you wouldn't want to just have it as timber on the top of it, because that's going to be, yeah, a fire hazard straight up. So at the moment it doesn't look like there's a chimney, because we didn't see the top, how he built that initial part of the shelter. I see a lot of pokies there on that top rail. Yeah, hopefully he smoothed it off on the top side, otherwise you're going to have holes in your tarp. Lighting a fire this big to start with, like all that clay and stuff inside is all wet. Everything's wet. So you're going to be heating it up really quickly. So you imagine it's like that thick of this wet clay stuff, and you heat it up really quick. It's going to dry the the inner edge really quickly, but then you're going to have this wet thing, outer edge, outside. So what happens is all this dries as it's drying, because you've got a big fire burning in it. As it dries, it's going to be shrinking, whereas this other wet stuff, it's not shrinking because it's not drying yet. So you get big like sheets of it sort of shed off it, break off as it separates away from the moisture stuff. So yeah, if you can, it's best to just let it dry naturally as long as possible. Maybe you don't always have that option, but that's the best solution, is to just let it dry over weeks, and then get a real small fire going in there just to get a bit more warmth to dry that last bit out before you really kick that fire into gear. Yeah, it's going to be smoky in that shelter. It needs a chimney that's longer, so as the hot air rises, it starts to draw the smoke up through that chimney. And the thing I always see with fireplaces, and I'm guilty of it myself in the fires that I've built on my channel, my other Bushcraft channel, you really need a big chamber at the top of the fire. So you've got your fireplace and it comes up, but then you need like a space for the smoke to hold as before it sort of goes up the chimney. Otherwise it just comes back out into your shelter. So yeah, the more space you can get, or more of a chamber you can get at the top of your fireplace, the more you can get away from that smoke coming back out. Like it fills up the smoke, especially when you're first starting the fire or when it dies down. You don't have a lot of heat for it to really draw out through the chimney until it warms up more. You get a more established fire. So you get more smoke, and that smoke's got to be held somewhere before it can get up the chimney. And if there's not enough space for it to be held, it then just billows back out into your shelter. And yeah, it's not fun when you're trying to sleep in there or cook in there and you got all this smoke. Okay. Guessing he's setting up for some B-roll shots here. He's going to look and then cut in a whole heap of clips of birds and animals. If he's not, then I don't understand this part of the video. Is this video brought to you by a binoculars company or what? I don't understand this part of the video. I think that whole binoculars piece didn't have any place in this video. Like it didn't add to the video at all. It didn't add to the story of building this shelter. It didn't do anything. It's just wasting time of the video. Like this is better because this is actually the building of the shelter, and now it's showing the fireplace in use to cook on. But the binoculars, I don't understand what that was about. Even if he had shown the binoculars and he had to cut in some B-roll, like maybe there was some cool birds in the trees or something like that, and he could have filmed them and then show the binoculars and then cut clips of wildlife, that would have made more sense. But just randomly pick up binoculars and just sit there, and pretty smoky. Bit of progression there. He's just jumped from having it all open, and now we've got it completely closed in. Yeah, right. We missed a step there, buddy. Would it be good to see what you did there? Put the frame on, pulling the tarp down over it, and we missed all of that. Wow, now it's complete. Maybe he shot a fair bit without filming it just to get it done. Maybe it was raining. I don't know. Yeah, bit smoky in there. Now, as I said, this guy, he's only got a couple of thousand subscribers. So whether he's got another YouTube channel, or if this is it, he's only got this handful of videos that he's done. Certain things could have been filmed, certain things could have been left out of the edit. A couple of things I'll say about it is that I like the size of it. it'd be a lot easier to keep that warm than some of these real big shelter builds that you see. And I like how he's utilised those two trees. Yeah, the fireplace, the size of the fireplace is pretty decent. It's just, yeah, the construction of it, and especially the chimney. But again, I don't know what resources he's got out there. We saw the ground was pretty damn soft. He's got lots of trees out there, but whether he's got access to many rocks, I don't know. It doesn't look like he's really utilised those two trees at all. Like, you can see the bit of wire there on either side, but looks like he's just made up a framework for the shelter and then just sort of tied that or tethered that framework to the trees. I would have possibly run those ridge poles straight through and lashed them onto the trees, and then put some bracing poles underneath it just to stop it if there was a big heap of snow or something like that on top. It's not going to collapse the shelter. And if you're in a really snowy environment, you could make a hinged door and have it opening inwards, so there's no risk of getting snowed in. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. Yeah, a couple of things there could have been left out in the editing. Yeah, these kind of movements with the camera sort of tells me that he's not that experienced still with using the camera. It's the kind of thing what you do when you first get a camcorder or a camera. The very first time you've ever had one that you're using, you're like trying to pan around and you're trying to zoom in and you go, oh, I can do all these cool things with it. And the more experience you get, the less you do those things, because they take away from the story bit. These sort of locked off shots are better. I don't know what he's doing here. Oh, he's obviously warming himself up, but yeah. We didn't see these nice flat stones where they came from. And that chimney is just terrible. Sorry, I'm going to put that right out there right now. That chimney is just horrendous. Yeah, if I was going to do this and had the resources that he had and lining it with the dirt like he did, I would have been tempted to do a secondary amount of timber on the outside of that. Like, he made his box up, put his dirt on it, and then put his pieces of stone on top of that wood. Could then put up more poles on the outside and then continued making that chimney. So you could have backfilled all that chamber on above that stone, so you'd have a tunnel going up even higher, which would have drawn all that through. Okay, that's it. It just kind of ended on us, didn't it? I might have been a little critical of him during that video. Some of the things that could have been edited out and the way it's filmed and all that. Hasn't got that many videos on his channel, and if he's just starting out and he hasn't done any filmmaking before, I think it's still a good effort. A lot of time I'm talking as if I'd be talking to the creator and giving my thoughts to them on their video. So if someone gave me a video and said, hey, can you check out my video for me? It's my honest thoughts and feedback. And I will put a link to that video in the video description, so you can go check that out if you want. And I'll also put a link to his channel, because he's got a few videos there you can have a look through. I haven't looked at any of the other videos. This is the first one I've seen, so I don't understand the binoculars thing where he got them out. I thought the video might have been sponsored by a binoculars company. They reached out to him and sent him a free product, but yeah, it didn't really add to the story. It didn't really do anything. It just sort of killed the momentum. So yeah, that definitely could have been cut out. Fireplace, yeah, that chimney, that's terrible. That's all I can really say. You've just got a box with a hole in the top of it. Yeah, smoke's going to come out through it, but it's not going to create that that drawing effect. Like when you have a chimney, as the smoke's going up through, all that hot air is rising and it's going up, it then starts sucking more behind it and draws it out. When you don't have a chimney at all, you just got a hole, the smoke is just billowing out. There's no drawing effect. And so then you get so much smoke just kicking back into your shelter because it can't all just get out this little hole. It's not getting drawn out through the hole. Anyway, that's my review of this video. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.